I despise Floki. Hello there, my fandom friends! Today I am going to be talking about my thoughts and feelings, as well as a quick summary about Vinland Saga, book number 9 by Makoto Yukimura. As you might know from being on my channel, I have been obsessing over this manga after finishing the anime. Manga number 8 is actually where the anime leaves off from, and so I read that one, I did a video just like this, but today we are going to be doing the same thing except for manga 9 instead. Before jumping into spoilers, know that all of this has not been animated, and so there will be Vinland Saga spoilers for what is to come in the manga. If you have only watched the anime so far, seasons 1 and season 2, I highly suggest not watching this video because you are going to be very confused and you are going to be very, very spoiled. If you have read the manga or just want to know what's to come, that is what the rest of this video is going to be about. So come along with me in my journey through Vinland Saga manga number 9. So as you might remember from my last Vinland Saga video, I was left in complete distress at the ending of manga number 8. If you don't remember, that is when Hild, our new character that we got introduced in volume 8, was introduced, and the last thing we see is her holding her bow to Thorfinn's heart, essentially. Majority of the first part of this manga is basically Hild and Thorfinn coming to an agreement, having Thorfinn leave his friends behind, and Thorfinn is going to go after Hild. She obviously wants to end his life because Thorfinn actually ended her father's life back when he was younger and with Askeladd's team. However, as we know, Thorfinn is on a completely different path and journey now. He wants nothing to do with that, and he's just trying to do good in this world. He's trying to turn it around. He's getting amazing character development, so I understand where Hild is coming from, but at the same time, I'm like, oh, just hear him out. I understand it must be so hard to forgive after someone did that to your family member, but I just really want her to understand. I really enjoyed how we got a lot of Hild's backstory, kind of her upbringing, kind of jumping us back to season 1, a kind of plot point that we didn't really get to see fleshed out as much, with of course Thorfinn and Askeladd's Vikings coming in and wreaking havoc on Hild's village as a kid. The line specifically that just sent chills down my spine was when Thorfinn was the one that said something along the lines of basically he's the hunter and Hild and her family are the hunted. And then of course she kind of throws that back on his face however many years later as the roles have seemed to reverse. That was really like heartbreaking and just like terrible to hear because Thorfinn was so bad back then, and him hearing that and remembering that is obviously resurfacing all of his bad dreams and all of his fears and everything from the past, which of course, yes, he did so many terrible things, but he's also just trying to do good. There were so many pieces of art in here of just Thorfinn looking absolutely like haunting from that season 1 kind of flashback that we got with Hild. Like this manga page, I was like, oh my gosh, Thorfinn, you used to be so bad, and like, it's a really good reminder, and it shows obviously how far Thorfinn has come up until this point. It's a good little seed to drop in there. Of course, through all of this, Thorfinn ends up getting shot by Hild with her crossbow. I think it was 5 times. Most of those were to the legs, so he can't walk, and his friends came back to help him, which kind of made the situation worse because Hild is being very threatening at that point. Thorfinn's on the ground, and he's kind of just getting ready to give up. He can't really solve this issue without there being violence. And of course, he doesn't want to take that road anymore, but he's kind of struggling with, what do I do? How do I atone for my sins without there being some kind of painful or death-like punishment? Of course, while Thorfinn is going through all of this in his head, he kind of gives up, but through all of this, Thorfinn and Hild kind of make this deal that if Hild just comes along with their journey with them, she can get a chance to see that Thorfinn really has changed and that he is trying to find this place of paradise and he's trying to create a world with no violence. We of course then get a shot of his nightmares coming back, a scene that I really didn't like was when one of the arrows shot through the back of his head. I was like, I don't want to see that. Like, please don't have that be foreshadowing to what's to come, because I love Thorfinn so much. I don't think anything like too terrible is going to happen to him because he is our main character and he's going through this amazing character development and arc. However, I don't know the ending of this, so I don't know how this is going to end. We then get a really beautiful scene of Thorfinn waking up. Einar is right by his side. I love their kind of brotherly bond and friendship so much. If something happens to Einar, I am going to be very upset because I just feel like they are such an emotional support system going on between the two of them. They're best friends, they're best bros, like they've gone through so much together. Like, please, I just need them to be happy. Anyway, they go through this conversation and Einar basically tells Thorfinn like, hey, I'm glad you're okay, but you gave up and you can't be doing that. Like, you are on this path to redemption. You need to stick to that. And Thorfinn realizes that he was wrong and he was like, yeah, I need to get better. They do a little promise and we're good to go. So that basically covers the first half of the manga. About halfway through, after all of that, we get reintroduced to two characters, one yay, one very much not. We get an amazing piece of colored art of Thorkill right as he's introduced. He's fighting this bear. I didn't really like that scene because I love animals. I'm an animal person, so I did not enjoy watching that scene of Thorkill fight the bear. However, I am excited for Thorkill to be back because I feel like he just adds so much chaos, comedy, and just randomness to the story. And so I'm so excited to see him back. The other person, which he's working in cahoots with, that I am not excited about at all, if you've seen my TikTok videos, you'll understand. I am not excited to see Floki again. Floki is like #1 hated character for me for Vinland Saga. I'm just like, why is this man not out of this story yet? This man needs to go down. I'm so sick of him. But I understand, he's a great antagonist for this story. But of course, introducing these two characters means that there is going to be some kind of drama for Thorfinn and attention that we do not want for our lovely main character. And of course, Thorfinn and crew kind of take this break to get some money. They're trading, or at least trying to, when Gudri sees Siggy and Siggy sees her. And it messes up literally everything because then men from Floki and Thorkill find Thorfinn. Now this is not great because of course Thorfinn doesn't want to have anything to do with them. He's done with the Viking life, he is done with the fighting, everything that comes with being a Viking. He never wants to see these people ever again. And talking about this next scene is going to get me so fired up. Something I never took into account for some unknown reason, I never once thought that Thorfinn, he's never met Floki. And he doesn't know that Floki is the one who actually issued the order to kill Thor's, his dad. It wasn't Askeladd that just woke up and decided to. It was stinking Floki. And Thorkill, innocent Thorkill, makes them meet, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, that paints such a target on Thorfinn's back. Obviously, throughout this whole thing, Thorkill is so confused. Thorfinn does not know who this man is, but Floki puts it together, and I'm so mad because Thorfinn just can't get a break, and I despise Floki. Anyway, Thorkill and Floki are basically trying to find a fit for who is to lead the Vikings. And the only person that's really capable of this at the moment is Floki's, I think it was his grandson. However, Thorkill really wants Thorfinn to take over, which of course he has the right mind in thinking because of everything from his past. However, Thorfinn doesn't want that. Floki obviously does not want that because he sees him as an enemy, even though he's literally done nothing wrong to him. Anyway, if you couldn't tell, I'm very upset over Floki and this whole business going on. But the one thing that I thought was really sweet out of it all is that Floki saw Thor's eyes in Thorfinn, which I take to heart. I think that's such a beautiful thing. I feel like Thorfinn views that in such a positive light as well, and people have complimented him on that. However, Floki is taking that in such a negative light that I just totally hate. Like, dude, just please calm down. Like, these are good-hearted people that are trying to do good in this world, unlike you. Anyway, this whole scene was just really awkward in general. Everything involving Thorkill especially, he's just trying to egg on the conversation and he doesn't understand what's going on. And I feel like Floki's really the only one, which makes me nervous because it's like he's controlling this whole thing. And so I'm really worried to see what's to come. And of course, this book ends with darn Floki hunting down Thorfinn, wanting to, of course, take him out. And Thorkill has no idea. Thorfinn decides to split up from the group. He does not want to put them in harm. So him and Hild decide to disembark from the boat, and they're going to meet up with their crew later on to kind of lure Floki's men toward them so that Thorfinn can try to find some kind of reason. Of course, this does not end up happening. Thorfinn, really cool, takes them all out with his fists, which reminds me, of course, of Thor's. He's trying not to, of course, super damage anybody because that's not the route he wants to take. Hild is just kind of observing, and by the end of this whole battle, basically near this village, Thorfinn is then faced with two guys that are not from Floki's team. They were actually just spies, and they are for someone completely different, and they claim to want to help Thorfinn. Of course, Thorfinn just doesn't want this. He just wants to live his life doing better, and so he's stuck with yet another decision to make. One scene at the end of the manga that really ripped my heart out was when the little girl from the village made a necklace for Thorfinn, and she was so excited to give it to him after he took down the bad men as the little girl saw it, and she wanted to reward him by saying thank you. And in the next scene, we see that the girl's mom actually kind of takes her daughter away from this whole mess because she thinks that Thorfinn is a part of this whole mess and not a good person as well. There's also a really specific line that I thought was interesting, basically something along the lines of, you can't live your life as a sheep wearing wolf's clothes. I think that that literally describes Thorfinn so well in kind of a negative light because he's just trying to be positive and start a new change in his life, start a new chapter. And so yeah, that basically wraps up this manga. Again, I super enjoyed this. I think I liked the last one better because it was a little bit more comedic for me. This one just made me worry so much, and it's not that I disliked it. I absolutely love this. It's just that I'm starting to get more worried about the direction of the story involving Floki because of how much I don't like him. But of course, I understand Thorfinn has got to have some kind of antagonist, some kind of big decision to make, and it seems like there's a lot stacking up on his plate. I'd love to hear from you, your thoughts on manga 9 of Vinland Saga if you have read through this. I'm going to continue cruising through this series from what is translated so far in America because I am absolutely enjoying this so much, and I'm so excited to continue. If you have read this, let me know what your favorite scene was or what you're hoping to see in the future, and I will see you next time for more Vinland Saga and other fandom fun. Bye!